Hi, welcome to Matt Talk, a video podcast for the friends and family of Coming First United Methodist Church from me, Pastor Matt. Well, today I'm delighted to have Theo Smith and Ann Teasley and Dylan Teasley here with me, and they're helping me to do Matt Talk today. And I've asked them to come and share with us about the mission trip that they took earlier with many of our youth earlier this month to Asheville, North Carolina. And so we're going to hear from them. So tell me, how was the trip?
It was really good. It was good getting to see all the people like helping out with all the devastation in Asheville, and just getting to meet new people from the other church we went with, and new people that had never been in our youth group before. It was great fellowship and great to help everybody.
Okay. So tell me, how many people you think, but how many people went from Coming First United Methodist Church?
I think there were 13 of us from Coming.
13. And that was 3 adults and 10 youth. Was that about right?
Yes.
And then there was another church that went with you. What church was that?
Northbrook United Methodist.
Northbrook United Methodist. And what was their group like compared to y'all's? Was it bigger or about the same size? Or
bigger, but there was more adults than kids. No, there's more adults.
More adults
than there was still more kids, but there was our ratio is 10-3.
Uh-huh.
Their ratio is more 10-5 or 9-6.
Okay.
Yeah, Northbrook UMC had 16 that came, and
16.
8 of those were students, and the rest were adults.
Okay, so we had more students, they had more adults.
Yes,
okay.
so overall our group was 29, and 18 of those were students.
Super. Now, was there other groups when you got to Asheville that you worked with, or was it just the 2 groups working together?
Specifically, where I went to help reconstruct the trailer that had been flooded, there were 2 other groups there from across the U.S. One was from, I think, Ohio, and one was from Alabama, both unaffiliated with us, but helping to do the same thing.
Sure. So we had a nice group go from Coming First United Methodist Church. Tell me about the group and the makeup of our group from Coming First Methodist.
Let me tell you, over the course of this week, these students, came out of their comfort zone. They were flexible. They did whatever they were asked to do and more. They sweated, they chopped, they, used sledgehammers. They, were inclusive with each other, met each other because we didn't all know each other really. They formed community with Northbrook United Methodist Church. So I as one of the adult chaperones was just so proud of this group this week and all that they did and all they accomplished.
That is super. So tell me, what did y'all do when you were there?
Well, first, backing up, so the reason that we chose that area of western North Carolina, if you remember, there was a hurricane. Hurricane Helene devastated the area back in September, and they are still in need of help. So that's why we went to that area, and while we were there, we did 5 different service projects over the course of 3 days. I can speak to a couple of them related to food service. And so one of the days, a few of us went to a place called Mercy Chefs. Their mission is to just go feed people, and they show up in disaster recovery areas and they feed the victims, the volunteers, the first responders, so that they all can focus on what they need to do and not have to worry about food. And so we spent a good 8 hours, I think, chopping from onions, all kinds of vegetables, to folding 2,500 tortillas, to putting their sticker on styrofoam containers. So that was one of the places we helped from a food standpoint.
So that bring tears to your eyes?
It literally did.
Yep.
Call out to Marion for her tears. Yep.
All right. So what were some of the other projects that you all participated in?
Well, so the day after that, mostly our church helped out with all the food service, and then Northbrook stayed at the camp we were staying at to do some construction, and then they also did construction at a trailer which had been flooded from the hurricane. So even with it being on 6 or 8 foot stilts, the water had still creeped up halfway up the wall inside of the trailer. So our job, well, eventually they would like to refurbish the trailer and get it back to its former glory. But with our little short tenure at the trailer, our job was to take out everything that had been flooded. So we were ripping down the walls just to the studs, and then the floors just down to the joists. So when I was there, I helped to tear out laminate flooring and carpet, and then also we destructed the particle board flooring, which was under everything, which had been completely flooded, in hopes that it could be all refurbished and dry.
Yeah. So a lot of demolition.
A lot of demolition, yeah.
Okay. Super. Theo, what did you do that second day?
Second day, we were at a church pulling weeds because we were supposed to be there for like yard work, and then we are also assuming that like they had a food market that was like for free and like for people that like there's like two separate like type of communities they were serving. One of them was just like people who were on food stamps. Another one was like this government program called TDAP that they were serving, and we were thought it was going to be Wednesday. It ended up being Thursday. So Wednesday we just pulled weeds all day.
Oh,
So it was
okay.
all yard work.
So all yard work.
Mhm.
Okay.
But then Thursday was what we were supposed to do. Wednesday we ended up actually doing that.
Okay. So then what did you do Thursday?
Just man the separate stations at this like free grocery store.
Okay.
It could be like it could just be like any. It looked like just any small town grocery store, but it was like all free and like all just for the people, for people who needed it.
Gotcha.
That was the first half of the day.
Okay. Super.
So this was a United Methodist church, and they have a weekly community food market, they call it. And so in the morning, the cars start lining up at 7:30 a.m. when we arrived. There was a long line. They don't even start until noon.
Wow.
And so we spent the morning twofold. One, people give donations throughout the week of just anything. So we set up sort of a thrift area, and people from the cars could come and look at that and take anything they wanted while they waited. Then 3 Amazon trucks packed full of food, came up the driveway. And so that was our first real job, was to unload all of those trucks. As Theo said, the church basement, was transformed into a grocery store, rows of everything that you would have in a normal grocery store, from milk and eggs and meat to produce to personal items. They were all there. And we also noticed that the signs that were there posted for the people were in English, Spanish, and Ukrainian. So it was those 3 groups that came in with their shopping carts and helped themselves to the food for those 2 hours. And I know our kids also, Dylan and Theo were out in the parking lot. What were you guys doing?
I wasn't. JB was.
JB.
I was inside toilet, like giving out toiletries.
Yeah, so out in the parking lot, I helped people carry their groceries to their car and load them in. And it was, really, so everybody had these little cards and different colors on them, which denoted how many families they were shopping for. Because, if you're disabled or have a lot of kids, it might just be better for one person to come and shop for everybody. So, like, I would load up, like, a car with, like, 3 or 4 shopping carts full of stuff for different families. And it was just really amazing to see how much this place could help all these different people.
Yeah. Now, was this all free, or was there a small charge for the groceries?
It was entirely free.
Entirely free. Okay.
Entirely free, and really built on making sure that these folks have a sense of dignity, that they're able. It's set up like a grocery store. So even though there's no money exchanged, they are getting a shopping cart. They are shopping as you would in a grocery store, and they're checking out at the end. Gotcha. There's just no exchange of funds through that.
So what else did you do?
Well, after we helped out at the community market that morning, in the afternoon from, I think, 4 to 7, we went to a place called 12 Baskets, which, similarly to the grocery store, instead of just passing out, like, boxes of food to people who needed it, which would, as like a soup kitchen would or something, as to preserve the dignity of its clients, as they called them, they treated it as like a restaurant. So what the place would do is any restaurant or store that had food that was getting a little old and they needed to throw it out, like a grocery store or anywhere, the food would all be sent there, and then the chef there would have to take all that food and make a whole new menu every day with all of the food. And it would be written on whiteboards and chalkboards all around the place, and the people at the tables could order just like a restaurant. A lot of us were like servers, and then we would go get their food for them, and they would eat just like in a restaurant. My specific job at 12 Baskets was they had a coffee service right as you walked in. So I spent about 2 hours just refilling big pots of coffee, and I got to, have a little small talk, meet everybody that came in, and it was really interesting to see all the different people it served and again, this was all completely free. So it was really awesome.
Oh, neat. That is. So, what did you do, Theo, at the 12 Baskets?
A good thing to know about 12 Baskets is a homeless ministry. So, when he was like saying like people come in, they were like coming in from like off the streets,
Uh-huh.
and then they do like I think it was like 4 days a week grocery store and 7 days a week restaurant. It was just a restaurant day.
Uh-huh.
So I was also a waiter.
A waiter?
Or he wasn't, but I was a waiter. I was getting people's orders. And then after that was done, I'd get my own plate and like sit at a random table and just like talk to people.
Gotcha.
That was
Okay.
basically
So good fellowship. Yeah, super.
just like talking to people that like in any other circumstance like you would just like never talk to.
All right, good. And then the next morning, was that fun morning?
That was whitewater rafting on the French Broad. Yes, it
All
was.
right, yeah.
Which is the river that flooded. And so it was very interesting to listen to our raft guide talk about that. He lived through it. The river was 16 feet above where we were rafting. That's how high it got. He talked about the train tracks being suspended 6 or 7 feet in the air after the water went down. That's how damaged they were. And it was those raft guides who did the bulk of the cleanup on that river because they knew, how to
Yeah.
maneuver through it.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, there was like you could tell while you were whitewater rafting, like but like they were like taking like tree stuff out of the river, and like you could tell where like they're like, and they're also clearing it off like the banks, so you could tell where the bulk of their work stopped because all of a sudden you could all see all these like down trees and just like random debris, like really like massive pipes and really massive like just like random debris that came from like other rivers that got washed down, and that was like ready to be like picked up and sent somewhere else. So that was really crazy to see all that.
All right. So then did that kind of wrap it up after the whitewater rafting that morning and came back the next morning, right?
Yeah, we traveled back early the next morning.
So tell me, what did this week helping others mean to you? How did it touch you or affect you, or what did it mean for you?
Well, specifically with my job of helping with demolition of that trailer, what really hit me there was that it was just one guy that lived in that trailer. And, without any of the help, he could have just been burdened to fix all of that himself or be homeless if he didn't have the money to repair it. But, I mean, over the course of those few days, there was probably 60 or 70 unique people all helping around his property just to restore that one trailer. And I thought that was really amazing to see, like, how much work can be done when all of us come together just to help one person.
Yeah.
I thought it was very like you could tell because I know a lot of people were like FEMA was there and during Hurricane Helene like the beginning, but like I feel like everyone's kind of just like forgot about it, which is really silly because there's still stuff that needs to be worked on. There's still like down trees in front of people's. So it was just like a good thing. Like at first I was thinking like really it was like so much in the future, but now I know like we're helping people that like maybe they did get a lot of help, but now it's like really hard for them to find help because everyone like kind of forgot. Like oh yeah, y'all got devastated. Forgot. So that felt really good knowing that like we.
Did you have a big takeaway that you brought back with you after being up there for a week and helping yourself, seeing other people help and seeing people being helped and seeing just the need of things? Was there some takeaway that you brought back with you that?
One of the things that we talked about, we got together both of our churches every night for a time of worship and a time of sharing the highs and lows of the day. And one of the themes of the week was truly how to be the hands and feet of God, of Jesus. And so I think it really, whether it was helping through the devastation of the hurricanes or really just helping, the poverty of the area that had always been there. It wasn't really, the hurricane that caused that. I think that we did a lot of service during that week that we really did use our hands and our feet and tried to make the place a little better than we found it.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you all. You're representing us at Coming First United Methodist Church there, and we appreciate your work and your ministry while you were there, and thank you for making a difference in the lives of the people there in Asheville, and especially during this very tragic time. And thank you for your willingness to spend a week doing for others when you could have spent a week having fun in something that you were really just enjoying. And I know you all suffered even a little bit with no air conditioning.
Yep.
Yeah, and so this wasn't quite the mission trip with the Hyatt. It was a little rough in it there a little bit. So thank you so much for your willingness to do that and be Christ and be representatives of Christ and representative of Coming First United Methodist Church. We really appreciate it. Well, thank you. And thank you for being here today on Mad Talk. Well, I look forward to seeing you as we worship together on Sunday, and look forward to our next Mad Talk. And until then, I pray that the peace and the joy of the living Christ be always with you.